Welcome to 13, car edition. I don't know if there will be an echo, guys, but let's roll through a few things because this week, I know many people saw a lot of different things that we did on the channel and on the audio podcast, but just in case you missed some things, I just want to reference them real quick. On Monday, we recorded Is the American Dream Over with Mike Harubi. A lot of this week was independent contractor related. It was the Department of Labor rule change related, and just undertone of how it could affect the gig apps as well, because there's a lot of people out there saying it can't. I actually had lawyers and other professionals on who said there's no way to tell that. Again, guys, remember that the source of the fact that a few people are stating that the gig apps have said people are saying the gig apps have made statements that this won't affect their platforms. So my question to you is, do you think the gig apps would tell you if it was going to affect them? My point is, of course, their official statement is, don't worry, this won't affect us, because they have hundreds of lawyers running around scrambling, trying to figure out how they will get around this. So they're telling you this will not affect us. They do not know that. And the way that I can tell you they don't know that is the lawyers and such that we had on, even the freelancers and hello, display ride, and traditional independent contractors who will be affected by this. They don't even know how they will be affected, but there will be an effect. And the DOL will most likely be the biggest part of the threat that you guys should understand is that this is not, you can't read this 330-page DOL rule change and even understand it. Lawyers can't, because everything's left to a six-prong interpretation. So it's not as easy as the ABC test where the B prong gets everybody and you can't be an independent contractor, period, it's over. It's not quite that simple. The six-prong test allows it to determine on a case-by-case basis. And by that meaning, we even talked about, well, won't precedents be set with other cases? So like, let's say a rideshare driver is declared an independent contractor. Wouldn't other rideshare drivers be able to use that precedence in their favor if challenged on this rule? And the answer from all attorneys across the board was absolutely not. This will be not only a state-by-state basis, it will be a case-by-case basis. So what I really want to hit home to you today with you guys is that there were some pieces dropped, and they're all worth listening to, for real. Whether on the audio podcast, I put them all out on the audio podcast, or on YouTube or any other social platforms, you could find the Mike Harubi thing that we did on Monday, is the American Dream Dead. You can find the Pacific Legal Foundation, with their lead attorney Wilson and Kim Cabin for Fight for Freelancers. We did a piece on Tuesday called Why We Sued the Department of Labor. So Kim Cabin, two other writers from New Jersey, and one from Atlanta are suing the Department of Labor through the federal court in Atlanta. That lawsuit has been filed, and we went through that in that live. So we talked about a couple other things with some other people. On the audio side, we did something on Wednesday that was very unique. So if you guys don't listen to the audio podcast, go look to what I dropped on Wednesday. That was very unique. And then today we had a discussion with Mr. John Lopez in Chicago. John is a political consultant. He is an analyst of politics. He is an analyst of he's an analyst of regulation and what might be the pros and cons of it before it launches. So most people in the spectrum know of John. John is a well-known voice. He's a behind-the-scenes guy, but he's been there forever. He understands unions, and he's for unions. He's more for being, he thinks everybody has the right, if legally, to be independent contractors. So to that I say, great, because we had somebody on who his whole life has a lot of family members who were in unions, so he believes in them. He does not believe they should be forced down your throat. So there were a lot of pieces like that. What I would like to talk about today is more of a victory, and I want to make this really clear that look, guys, if you watched the town hall this summer, that we did here in Denver. It was the day after GigCon, so there's so many people to thank. Really, I don't even want to get into names. I tried on Thursday. I was spewing out a few here and there, but they were just trickling out. I will try and put a comprehensive list together of all the people who, every single person who was involved in GigCon, the town hall, whatever, that whole weekend encompassed. Because there's creators, there's people who watch channels who were here, who were involved. There's companies that were behind helping. There's Stephanie Vigil, Colorado House Representative member. There's Senator Priola, and he's the biggest one that we made a difference on. So, we invited him. I did twice. Stephanie did once. He didn't respond to any of them. Stephanie gave him a tap in a Senate chamber, and he said he didn't think he'd make it. So when she showed up that day, she said he didn't think he'd make it. I had emailed him again and said, we'd really like to have you. He did show up. We were very surprised. He was the one that shot down Stephanie's bill, and he did show up. And he said he didn't want to talk, or not like, I don't want to talk. He said, he didn't want to speak when I had the hot mic, but he said that he was willing to have one-on-ones, and he was there to listen and learn. So you can take that with a grain of salt. Was he, in the moment? Is he really here, or is he just here for show? I can tell you that Senator Priola lives in Brighton. Brighton's about an hour away from where we had the venue for the town hall, and he did come that way. So that's 2 hours of driving both ways. He did talk to Sergio. He did talk to Kim. He did talk to Zach. He did talk to me. He did talk to some other people. And he got a whole new perspective on this gig economy thing. So now he's absolutely, he's part of there were some things about Stephanie's legislation he wasn't 100% down with. And did we get everything in there? Because legislation, look, I don't want it either, guys, but it's coming. I've been telling you this, and now we're seeing it come. So now we're at the fruition point. So I would say go listen to the John Lopez piece from today to understand how this can and will hit you. Because even if it hits the companies, and you guys should all know this, even if it hits the companies, not the drivers, who will pay for that? I mean, in the big picture. So if 4 states get hit with legislation and stuff, do you think that the companies are going to outright pay for that? No, they're going to take it out of the driver's pay. The other thing that we're seeing in many legislations, and we'll be talking about this over the next few weeks because I now have legislation that has been submitted. It's not being tweaked anymore. It is submitted in multiple states. And we are seeing the same. One of the things we are seeing that's pretty consistent across the board that I love, removal of acceptance rate on every app. That's in like 15 states that's being pushed because you can't be an independent contractor with an acceptance rate. That is one that, people like, here's another one. People say you can't be in a union if you're an independent contractor. Not true. There are independent contractors that have unions. They're not forced, or maybe they are, or whatever, they're able for you to join. That's up to you. So don't always think that it's so black and white, but in this case, it is. You can't have an acceptance rate and be an independent contractor. That doesn't only not meet the B-prong or the Sixprong test. That is literally saying that is right on the labor definition of employee, because that's being told to do a task is what that is. Because if an acceptance rate matters, then somehow that company has pull over you. If that company has pull over you, you are not independent. Let's just keep it that simple, because it gets pretty dicey if we go beyond that. So what did we learn? Senator Priola now is pushing legislation. And is it the be-all, end-all? No, but I think that's why it's great, because it's a start, and it's where it should start. It starts with the TLC and Rideshare. So what the bill that he's sponsoring and pushing says is that we, independent contractors and rideshare drivers, have the right to see the upfront fare that we've seen and that we don't like for Uber and Lyft, but we also have the right to see what the customer paid. Now, on top of this, I had to look because I wasn't sure, because it was in the initial one by Stephanie, but I wasn't sure how it was going to play out. But yes, the customers will also see what they paid, and they will see a break of what the driver was paid. And this is a big problem with these rideshare companies. So Uber and Lyft, this is going to hurt you bad. It's going to hurt you bad, because a lot of people I've talked to many, even still to this day, don't tip, because as the prices with Uber and Lyft rise, they literally think drivers are getting not only more, but a lot more because the price hikes have been big. And I've told them, not only are the drivers not getting more in any markets. No market has ever gone up with Uber price. And I'm not talking about surges. I'm talking about the rates. Those don't go up. Those have gone down since day one. So what I'm saying is that now the customer will think, yeah, well, when I used to pay $40 to go to the airport, the drivers used to tell me they weren't paid that good, but now I'm paying $80. They must be getting paid good. And I've told them the drivers make less now when you pay $80 than when you paid $40. They say impossible. Well, guess what, guys? All you customers out there, you're going to see it now. So when you take a $100 ride from Denver International Airport down to Parker, when you get home and you think, well, the driver must have got like 60, 70. Look on your receipt in your Uber thing, because here in Colorado, once Senator Priola's bill hits the floor and they pass this thing, you will see Uber took $75 and the driver got $25. That's going to be a game changer. Money, you might not think so, but it is. The other thing, guys, is that's in there is the right to know why you were deactivated and challenge any wrongful deactivation. So to make the situation less sticky, they don't want blind deactivations here in Colorado under this bill. They want you to be able to, you have to know, if you're deactivated, you have to know this is why you were deactivated. Then if you want to challenge that, you can challenge it. Because the problem that they were seeing was that everybody would challenge it because we're never told why we're deactivated. Well, this solves that problem, because they have to now say, if this passes, they have to say, we deactivated you for this. They have to relate it to a trip on a day and say what you did. And that is going to cause another problem with customers, because no customers are going to be very careful not to call in to get a free $8 ride and say, yeah, that guy was a jerk, if you weren't a jerk, because now they'll know who said that. And that, as the independent contractor, can cause a legal framework. So you guys, there will be a live stream coming here soon or it might have already happened when this drops, but check it out, because I got a lot going on today, and that's 13 minutes of gig news in just under 13 minutes or less. Peace, y'all.